Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel. My name is George Kingori. I'm an online finance guy who speaks about all things finance. How you can be able to save, how you can be able to invest, and how you can be able to grow your financial outlook. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to the channel so that you can be able to get this and other articles and videos. Either to enjoy yourself, to entertain yourself, to grow. Remember, I'm here to educate, to elevate, sometimes to entertain you in your financial journey. So, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to give you a story. Many of you look at me and think that I have not done much. I have done a lot of things. Do you know? There was a time I used to be a hawker, and not just once, but I'm going to tell you about the first instance. I used to be a hawker. Okay, I never really worked for long, but I hawked things, and I made some money. If you don't know what a hawker is, I'll give you a picture so that I can be able to see. A hawker is somebody who is not registered, who does not have a premise, who is running around with his wares and selling to anyone and everyone who is willing to buy. You are usually speaking and selling your things by singing a tune or speaking and running or entertaining people so that you can be able to make a sale. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an active job. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not the simplest jobs because the Nairobi County Council police are always looking to arrest you. They're always looking to extort you. They're always looking to get money from you. And other hawkers are also fighting for their space and trying to get your money. But yeah, again, that's another story. So this time, I had just finished one of the semesters in university, and I was at home. And remember, we used to have a long breaks. I don't understand why Kenyan universities have summer breaks and we don't really have summer. But anytime from May to the end of August, there's usually a holiday for almost like 4 months where you are doing something or nothing, either watching movies or relaxing or farming or whatever. So I decided that I would not sit back. And I remember that time there were the mangoes that were coming out. There were the small mangoes that were coming out around that time. Some very nice mangoes. And there was a glut in the market. And my mom told me, there are so many mangoes now that are almost going bad because there is no market. A lot of mangoes had gotten to a place called Marikiti. A lot of mangoes had come in. And truckloads had a lot of mangoes that they needed to sell fast. And they were actually selling very cheap because they did not want to make losses. So my mom told me, why don't you think about in terms of maybe you can be able to get these mangoes and sell and make some money. So I came up with a good business plan. Again, when you are broke, that is when good business ideas come up. So I got the idea. Why don't I go and get these mangoes and wash them and clean them? Remember, because there are many of them, they were ripening too fast. Ladies and gentlemen, if you live in Europe, you have never eaten a mango. What you eat are examples of mangoes. Mangoes in Kenya that have ripened on the tree are beautiful. They are sweet. Ladies and gentlemen, you should travel to a tropical country and eat a local mango from a local vendor. Then you will know that whatever you buy in America and Europe are just examples of mangoes. So I went to this market and I bought a whole sack of mangoes. One sack, a big one. And remember that time there were no restrictions on how big. So I bought this sack of mangoes for 300. Usually they would go for 600 going up. But I bought this sack of mangoes for 300. And I made the plan that I would sell these mangoes fast. And the easiest way you can be able to sell these mangoes fast is you sell them cheap and you look for a ready market. So my biggest ready market was a local primary school. So after transporting the mangoes home, I took the mangoes and I hired a mkokoteni. I'll link a picture so that you can be able to see a mkokoteni. And I filled all my mangoes in that mkokoteni. And I took them to a local primary school. So at lunchtime when the kids were coming, remember, I had a plan because I was thinking, I will sell these mangoes because they're small size mangoes. I'll sell them at 1 shilling each. 1 shilling each is like 1 cent dollar. I'll sell at 1 shilling each for every mango. Again, I had a knife and I had some local things that you add on. Usually has pepper and salt, and you can be able to add to ripe mangoes to make them even sweeter. and I had some water to wash off that and things like that. So I stationed myself outside a local primary school. Of course, I didn't ask for permission. I mean, sometimes it's better not to ask for permission because you'll not be granted. So you'd rather apologize later than ask for permission. So I went outside the school and I was selling the mangoes. And I would tell kids, Bob, 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 1 shilling, 1 shilling, 1 shilling, 1 shilling. Remember, limited stock. And I was dramatic and I would whip up emotions in these children. And ladies and gentlemen, these children bought mangoes for 1 shilling. And these kids had money. They had at least 5 shilling each, because at least parents would give them some money to spend here and there. And during lunch, these kids bought mangoes. That day, my sack of mangoes finished. And I sold each 1 shilling, 1 shilling, 1 shilling, 1 shilling. Of course, there were those overly ripe. But you remember, kids love the very ripe mangoes because they can usually just pierce the covering or the outer shell and make a small hole. Then they would be able to mash the mango so that they can be able to drink it as a drink. Kids are funny. So even the ripe ones were good, but of course there were those that were terrible and they had broken out and the skin was broken up and things like that. So I remember that day I went with overly ripe mangoes that I was to throw away, and I had made 800 shillings. I had hired this cart for 100 bob. And remember, I had incurred 300 to buy this sack of mangoes and another 100 to be able to transport them. So I had spent 500 and I had made 800. And I had, of course, there were some wastages and things like that, but I had made 300 shillings in one lunchtime. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how we made 300 shillings, hawking mangoes in one single day. So, of course, I was a bit apprehensive because I did not want my university folks who always considered me a cool guy to be able to see me selling mangoes. Again, I was looking all mangory. And remember, when mangoes are overripe, there's a lot of flies. So I was looking unpresentable. But I sold these mangoes and I made my 300 shillings. And I went the following day and I did the same for a whole week. Before, of course, the mango season went and they started becoming a bit more expensive that I could not sell to these kids. Remember, they were my ready market. And remember, they were willing and they had the money. And because there were 800 of them in that primary school, I could at least sell a mango to each. And remember, some would buy even 5 so that they can be able to enjoy eating mangoes. Remember, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, as a university guy, it is usually hard to be able to sell mangoes outside a primary school. Who could be seeing you? Ladies and gentlemen, even the girls at campus will never take you serious when they see you selling mangoes. But I was idle. Remember, I was idle. I had the time and I could speak and I could sell to kids. I had to humble myself, but I made some money. And I made some money that way during my campus holidays when I could get 4 months of free time. And I was able to make some money. So by the time I was coming to campus, I never asked money from my parents, pocket money and things like that. I could pay for myself. I could pay for myself for courses for my accountancy, my CPAs. I paid for myself. I did not ask for money from my parents because I had acquired the skill of making money when the opportunities came. So ladies and gentlemen, you may be struggling there with joblessness. You may know somebody who is struggling with joblessness. But you need not sit down and be depressed. There is something you can be able to do. It may be small. It may be a bit shameful. And I've shared something about shame. But wake up and do something. Earn that little money. And it could be your big break as you continue to engage your mind and find ways to make more money. It could be a stepping stone to greater things. I'm not telling you to sell mangoes. There are many other opportunities that you could be able to explore. But don't sit. Be idle. Be depressed. And be a headache to the people who are taking care of you. So, enjoy the day. I hope that you have been enjoying this article. And so that you can enjoy more, remember to subscribe to the channel, to leave a comment, a like, and a comment down there. And tell me that you are learning and you are growing and you're becoming better in your financial journey. So thank you and enjoy your day.